First principles is a very popular idea in the tech community. I first heard about it in Walter Isaacson's book about Elon Musk. And he kind of goes through this idea that there was this very popular thinking that you can't build rockets. It's way too expensive. He actually documents how Elon Musk went around and interviewed a bunch of NASA engineers, scientists, and so forth. And it's impossible. It's impossible. And impossible. And ultimately he was like, well, let's just go back to the beginning. And he just started at the beginning. How do you build a rocket? And he just kind of did it in a very systematic and at the beginning. And he kind of threw out the common thinking of of his time, because a lot of those thinkers just said, no, it's impossible. It's too expensive. And he obviously proved them wrong. He was able to do it, but he did it not by the standard way of thinking. He went back to the beginning and just started at the beginning and did it in a more affordable way. And the analogy with first principles is the difference between a cook and a chef. A cook follows the recipe. This is how we do it. A chef starts with the ingredients and just kind of build something new and really basic from first ideas. And so one kind of just follows the rules, the other creates something. And I think this idea of a thinking through first principles is really helpful in most areas of our lives. And so obviously a lot of those NASA kind of engineers or scientists were just cooks. Doesn't mean they weren't brilliant, doesn't mean they weren't very smart, but they were just following the play. And this is how we had built rockets for 50 plus years. They couldn't even imagine the idea of a SpaceX because it wasn't in their mind. They couldn't think outside the box. And so you could take this, let's say, with church. Well, my church has been doing it this way for 50 years. We have buildings, we have a stage, we do announcements, we preach, and you can't even imagine a different way. And you might be thinking like a cook, where a chef might go, well, let's open up the Bible. What does Acts say about church? And why can't we just do that? And so you can see why this type of kind of process thinking is really helpful to kind of reinvent. And so I would encourage you, maybe in some areas of your ministry, your church, or maybe even your company or your personal life, use the first principle kind of idea to kind of reinvent or think through what's something we can change. Because the reality is, we all have traditional thinking. We're all like those NASA engineers where we can't even imagine a different world. And you might think, well, I don't have traditions. No, we do have traditions. And contrarian thinking, or at least bringing that thought process into something, usually is very helpful to kind of reinvent and bring in something new that you can't even imagine. So think about the first principles in some area of your ministry or church, and it might actually bring about something good.